What's going on, guys? Welcome to another one of BlackIron's battles. Today we've got some really cool Total War Warhammer 2 versus 2 quick battle action for you. I'm teamed up here with my buddy Dahv Plays. You can see Dahv here, he's using the Vampire Counts and Kemmler, and I'm using the Skaven here, of course, Clan Moors with Queek Head Taker himself. So we're squared off up against another group of Skaven with Clan Pestilens over here using Lord Skrolk, and we've also got a TombKing player using Grand Hierophant Khatep. So right off the bat, you can see over here, Dahv does have some, where are they at? The dire pack here. And they're in the forest. They're ready to do some damage. Dahv, I'm sure, is hoping to get them in the back line and maybe catch a Casket of Souls or, one of those Plague Claw catapults, something like that in the rear. Or, just to do anything you can. So we'll go ahead and give you, right off the bat, we'll show you, here in the front, we've got two groups of Skaven Slave Spears. And you see right there, there's an incoming giant arrow from that bone giant over there. And it's coming in here, and it is going to nail those Skaven Slave Spears. And so that is why you always want to keep your weaker units up a little bit farther forward, your chaff, so that way any automatic fire that comes in will hit them right there in the front. So here you can see we've also got some clan rats with shields. In the middle ranks, we've got three groups of Deathrunners for their armor sundering ability. It's just really, really strong to be able to remove 50% of armor with the Weeping Blade. I mean, that is just, no matter how much armor something has, 50% off is always good. Now, maybe it's not probably the best against the TombKings who don't always have a lot of armor, but at the same time, I really, I wasn't 100% sure what I was going to see, and I thought maybe we'd have a lot of big constructs. So you can see here, I've already mentioned we've got Queek, and he does have his Warp Shard armor, which will remove 18 armor from any opponent in his AoE. He's also got the Stand Your Ground to go ahead and, keep everyone fighting in a group around him. And with the Warlock Engineer, we've also got the Warpstone armor. So he'll do that, he'll, have that Mortis Engine effect, drawing health off of those around him. And he also has, I've also got Warp Lightning on him. So I'll be blasting Warp Lightning off non-stop, trying to do as much damage to those lightly armored group targets as I can. And see, me and Dahv thought we were bringing a big army. Look at that, we have 2,600 troops, but our opponents actually have a little bit more than us. And so we were pretty surprised. But that is gonna be an awesome battle for you guys. You can see here in the back we've got Stormvermin with sword and shields on each flank for their higher melee defense. We got 44 defense, but they've still got 36 attacks, so those guys will do some good damage. We've also got the Deathrunners, and we've got those Plague Monks here. And so the Plague Monks are really gonna hopefully get in there and do a lot of damage with 90 models, 36 melee attack. They'll hopefully overwhelm a lot of those chaff units. And here in the back, we have my special thing I was trying this time. We have these rat ogres, and we've got them up to a gold chevron. So they've now got 70 leadership. These guys, they've 38 melee attack, 34 melee defense, and so we'll see what they can do with that extra buff. We've got two groups of those buffed up rat ogres, and so those guys hopefully will be able to get in there and pay for themselves. Over here for Dahv's army, you can see in the back, he does have Varix Reavers, those black knights with lances and barding, which have anti-infantry and regeneration. These guys are really strong. He's also got some regular blood knights over there on each flank, so he's got those three groups of cavalry for his mobile units. Here in the front, you can see he's got a ton of skeleton spearmen and skeleton warriors just kind of mixed in there. There's the Constein Stalkers, the Regiment of Renown. Those skeleton warriors are a little bit stronger than the average one, but at the same time, there's still just chaff units, all sorts of chaff units here in the front just to soak people up. He's got Heinrich Kemmler right in here. You can see the Kemmler himself, and he is ready to do tons of damage. He's got Lord of Undeath, so he can spawn Krell there. And he's also got, generally Raised Dead, Invocation to Heck, just the Chaos Tomb Blade, pretty much everything you would want on Kemmler. And he's going to be in there trying to just cast up a storm. In the back here, you can see we've got the Mortis Engine effect as well with the Unholy Lodestone there on the Corpse Cart. We do have the Sternsmen, which are pretty much an always include. Everyone includes the Sternsmen every single time because of their regeneration and just their charge defense. We've also got two groups of Graveguard over here on the flank, and that pretty much sums up all of our armies. Over here on our opponent's side, you can see here in the back they do have those Plague Claw catapults. They've got 2 groups there, and those things are ready to just fire in there and do massive damage to us. They'll be able to do some pretty good work until we get in there and stop them. Here in the back, you can see guarding them, we've got some Clan Rat spears and some Skaven Slave spears, and those Skaven Slave spears actually have a couple of chevrons into them, so I'm not sure how that's working out for them. I typically won't put chevrons on slaves, but you know, it's definitely something you can do. Here in the middle, you can see there's more Clan Rats and just an overwhelming number of troops. Here's some Stormvermin with sword and shield. There's whole groups of them hiding here in the forest. And then here on the other side, you can see there is Lord Skrolk himself. He's also got a Warlock Engineer. The Warlock Engineer is actually bringing extra powder for that explosion and armor piercing buff. And he also has the Warp Stone armor. You can see here there's a Plague Priest who's going to be able to wither and cast Vermintide to be able to spawn Clan Rats. And that's, you know, with that Scrying Stone, that's helpful as well. So Lord Skrolk and the Plague Priest, I mean, that is a lot of magic to be using, but it definitely with Rod of Corruption. He's got Liber Bonicus. He's got everything you would need. So they're going to be just trying to get off as many spells as they can, really to keep that Plague Rash up at all times to reduce that speed and vigor. And that is just really going to hopefully, you know, they're hoping to really debuff my troops. Here you can see there's a couple more groups of Clan Rats, but that's pretty much it. You know, it's really just those big groups of Stormvermin for and the two catapults for the Skaven player. Now over here for the big guys themselves. Over here for the TombKings are these 2 bone giants, so dual bone giants there. You can see them just looking nasty, and I hope you guys know in the new patch they're going to be constructs like they should be. So I'm happy about that. Undead really didn't make a lot of sense. You know, but either way. So we've got 2 bone giants here. We do have Grand Hierophant Khatep over here. And here you go, DJ Khatep. Look at him. He's just in all his finery, looking fresh with that nasty skull there. And he's got Sandstorm, of course. He's got Incantation of Desiccation. He's got, you know, the Skull Storm. He's just ready to just do tons of damage with the Lich Staff. He should be able to really shut down our casting and, you know, maybe just get some good damaging spells off himself. Here in the back, Skeleton Spearmen across the board. Here's the Scorpion Legion in here, which are just going to give that poison attack as well. And I think they maybe have a little bit more armor. Yeah, a little bit more armor than the typical ones. Here's some Skeleton Warriors up in the front, which each have 3 chevrons, giving them a little bit better stats. And then he's also got some Skeleton Archers here. 2 groups of Tomb Guard, and then this is going to be the Kepler Guard up here. You can always tell with their cross swords, and those guys these are the always include for every TombKing's army. Everyone always has the regenerating Kepler Guard. They're like the Stearnsmen of the TombKings, and that's pretty much it, guys. So before we bore you guys to death talking about the armies, let's go ahead and get this thing started. And you can see just the big arrow slamming in there. You can see a couple of dead slaves. And that is just fine. If slaves are for anything, it's for dying. That's what we brought them here for. That's what they were raised for. And maybe one of them will live and be able to scrap its way up to being a Clan Rat one day. But it is not likely. So coming in here, you can see there's more hits, and they're actually just like we had hoped on those Skaven Slave Spears. So you see, just putting them that slight bit ahead, it actually allowed them to, oh man, there's some big hits coming down on those Rat Ogres. But yeah, just slightly ahead, and it'll actually cause that AI targeting to target your weaker unit, or the chaff units that you want. You can see there that we're taking some major hits on the Rat Ogres. We have to keep them moving. You can see some shots there on the Skaven Slave Spears. I'm trying to make sure that I'm fighting at the same time as Dahv here. I don't want to get engaged and then have myself get surrounded here by both players. And so I'm having to pull back, and when I'm pulling back, and you see all of that arrow fire coming right in on those Rat Ogres who are just running past us, and they've taken massive amounts of damage. So I don't know if you guys know, but those gold chevron Rat Ogres, they were a pretty penny. So getting them down to half health, I mean, they've still got 7 models left, but we are not going to be able to heal them up too easily. Here in the front, you can see there some of those Skaven Slave Spears getting knocked off, but that is great. That is exactly what we're hoping for. Some Clan Rats with shields. I mean, if we can soak up that expensive ammunition from those artillery pieces with our weak Clan Rats and slaves, then that is just the major goal. You see there my Warp Lightning coming in there, and I'm actually missed it. So he got his units out of the way just in time, and we missed those Skeleton Archers. So At the same time, we are managing to fully engage now. So you can see here some more of those hits coming in, and at the same time on the right here, we are going to start engaging. So we're going to get the Deathrunners engaged here with the Stormvermin, and they're going to get right on top of this Plague Priest. And you can see there his armor's down to 10. I mean, doesn't have a lot to begin with, but at the same time, they're completely surrounded. Those Deathrunners are going to go down. They do not have good defensive stats, and with Wither on top of them, they're down to 0 armor, and they're going to get cut to pieces by these weak units. So I'm going to need to get over there immediately to get in there. You see over here that Krell is engaged right now with his Bone Giant, and he is cutting him to pieces. If we take let's go ahead and just slow it down just for a second here. So we're going to go ahead and get on the left here. So Dahv is moving in, but he's been taking some pretty good fire from those Bone Giants on top of his Blood Knights. At the same time, here in the middle, he is finally getting engaged. So Skeleton Warriors against Skeleton Spearmen, while Krell is fighting right in here against the Bone Giant, and he's really starting to, he's going to chip into him, and he will also keep him from firing, which is super helpful. Here in the back, you can see the Dire Pack are trying to get in there on top of these Plague Claw catapults, but all of those Storm Vermin and those Clan Rats, they're kind of blocking them off and not allowing them really to get in there. At the same time, those Plague Claw catapults are shooting in here and just starting to nail my front lines. But my front lines are holding up. You can see these Skeleton Spearmen are going down. We've lost some of the Clan Rats and some of the Skaven Slaves, but that is not a big problem. Same time, we've got some Skaven Slaves here in the back that are coming back, and we've got all sorts of units. I mean, they're not 100% dead. Here in the front line, we've got the Plague Monks are starting to be engaged, and in this massive battle here, we do have Queek Head Taker, and he is right on top of this Warlock Engineer. You see Trophy Heads has gone off, and we're going to go ahead and get this thing going again. So Trophy Heads has gone off, and we are really going to try to take this Warlock Engineer right out. You see here that the Clan Rats with shields, the Death Runners, everything's in there. At the same time, this Warp Fire Throw is doing some pretty good damage to us. It's just sitting up there on the hill. Let's go ahead and zoom in on it. Oh man, it is going to be doing some major damage if we don't take it out pretty quickly. And these guys are, you know, they're going to be able to shoot in there, and they'll do some really strong damage to these Death Runners, you know, if I don't shut them down quickly. Here in the back lines, oh man, you can see here that we've got a ton of units just standing around, and Dahv is not going to want to see that, but I'm going to need to get them all back from round immediately. But right here in the middle, I'm just fighting my heart out. In the back lines here, Dahv is still trying to engage these Dire Pack, but he now is supporting them with the Blood Knights. And these Clan Rats and Storm Vermin, they're taking those charges. They're taking it pretty well. They're actually going to do not too bad. You can see here that we've turned around the Blessed Legion of Fox, and these Skeleton Archers are now starting to fire in at the Dire Pack, which are crumbling. And it is just a back and forth battle. This is just so difficult right now. You see that actually they're inching ahead of us, but we are gonna need to get all of those Skaven units back in here. Right now we've got some Plague Monks right here in the middle of the battle. You see here that we've shattered the Warlock Engineer. Lord Skrolk is down to half health, and this Plague Priest is down to half health as well. Queek Head Taker is up, you know, full health. My Warlock Engineer is full health, and all of you can see that Mortis Engine effect is going down from both Warlock Engineers. But of course, his is getting out of there, and mine is still alive, still doing fresh, and we're going to be taking Lord Skrolk out immediately. Over here on the left, you can see that everything is engaged now, and it is not going in our favor. These Graveguard are engaged against these Skeleton Spearmen, and they're going to win. But here you can see that the King Next Scorpion Legion are engaged against regular Skeleton Spearmen, and that is just a massive Skull Storm going off there. And I do have these Rat Ogres, so you can see here these Rat Ogres are up to 27 kills, and they're still like pretty good health, 11 models left, and so they're getting in here and they're going to do some major damage. So they're gonna, every time they swing, they're going to do some damage to these Skeleton Archers. You see they're in the back lines now. With all of these units in the back line, the TombKing's player he's pretty much going to go down. So you can see here that Grand Hierophant Khatep is, you know, blasting off a couple of shots there. You can see with that Casket of Souls, you can also see the Bone Giant here is still going to be able to keep shooting. So whatever we do, it is still just a neck and neck battle. Over here on the right, though, we finally started to you know, hopefully take down Queek. Skrolk. We've got the Plague Priest down. You can see here he's broken, and Lord Skrolk is nowhere to be found. I think he is also dead as well. So at this point, we do have a bunch of units which are pretty well rested. You can see here in the back that Dahv is engaging these Varix Reavers against these Stormvermin with sword and shield. And the Varix Reavers are actually do okay if they can get a charge bonus off. Otherwise, these Stormvermin will start to pull them down pretty quickly. Here in the back, you can see both of these Plague Claw catapults still well protected. There's still some clan rats with spears protecting them, and they've used almost all their ammo with like 150, 160 kills between them. They're doing pretty good. And we've also got these two healthy groups of Stormvermin, which are coming right in. Here in the back line, you can see here that Dahv has got still plenty of Grave Guards, Skeleton Warriors, all pretty well engaged. You can see there a big shot coming in there from that Casket of Souls on top of the Sternsmen, but they will regenerate that help pretty quickly. The Corpse Card in here is helping out with that. And at the same time, you see here these zombies, they're trying to go ahead, and Dahv's going to use them to tie up Khatep very soon and very quickly. But before then, too long, these Stormvermin will get in here. You can see here this Bone Giant coming in, and they're just going to send those zombies immediately off the map. But they're going to do their job. They're holding up for a second. And over here on the left, you can see here Dahv's starting to get these. Oh, man, there's just USEXs on there. We've got all sorts of stuff going on. But these, you know, the Blood Knights are still in there. They're engaged against Skeleton Archers. They'll be able to kill them. You can see here the group of Ushopsis going down rather quickly. And Kemmler and Krell are in here fighting together. You can see Kemmler just knocking skeletons flying. And they're going to do okay. They're not, I mean, they'll hold up for a little while. There's Skaven Slave Spears in here, Skeleton Spearmen, but as long as Dahv keeps cycle charging with these Blood Knights and healing with that big Invocation in the heck going down, you can see here a lot of these units are going to come back, and we will continue fighting. Over here on the right, we've actually started to get our Warlock Engineer and Queek himself engaged when we're trying to now chase down Grand Hierophant Khatep. You can see more shots coming in, and I think that's doing as much friendly fire as it is doing damage to me, but a bunch more of my clan rats heading back off the field. But we have got everyone pretty much engaged now, and we are just going down fast. You see the balance of power is still in our opponent's favor. You see those rat ogres coming in here, and I've been trying to get everyone on top of Khatep. So if I can catch Khatep and I can kill him, that'll really help, because there is no other TombKing's hero. You can see him just scooting through there, scooting right through those Stormvermin with sword and shields, or kind of covering his retreat. And Queek is getting pretty low on health while trying to chase. Oh, that was a big shot from that catapult, and I think that's going to be pretty much it. You can see them firing at all of my fleeing units, all of those fleeing clan rats, but there is just a nasty amount of magic on the field right now. You can see here this Corpse Card is in here, still draining units. These Rat Ogres with 7 models left, I mean, they've still got pretty good leadership because of those chevrons, and they're in here. Now they're up to 51 kills, and now's their time to shine. They're going to cut down these Tomb Guard, and you can see in here they're cutting this group of Skeleton Warriors down, one swing apiece. In there comes a huge overcasted Warp Lightning, and that is actually taking out a huge number of models. Here in the middle, you can see Dahv has got his Blood Knights surrounding the Bone Giant, while the Warlock Engineer here is just draining all of these Clan Pestilens units. He's in here and just half health. You can see Queek is finally taken down. 400 health left on Queek. But the Warlock Engineer is just going to continue draining. Look at all of the units that are surrounding him. And he is holding strong. Meanwhile, the Rat Ogres and these Blood Knights are able to take the Bone Giant down. You see a big shot coming in here on top of our gathered units. They were in there fighting Clan Rats, but they took a big hit there from Khatep. But that Warlock Engineer is just continuing to grab value. I mean, he is draining just a significant portion of these troops, and even though now he's broken, he's still continuing to drain, and for some reason no one's killing him. So he's just living the life right now. He's doing a massive amount of help, but we are still losing. Dahv has got these Blood Knights remaining. You can see here there's Stormvermin with sword and shields and some Plague Monks of mine that I have returning to the field. But there is not a lot left, and especially if I lose this Warlock Engineer. I mean, if he doesn't kill all of their units first. But you know, he is the only. I mean, him and Queek are the only leadership I have left. You can see in here that Queek is covered in blood. He has come back to the battle. We've got some Rat Ogres over here that are returning. 7 Rat Ogres remaining. And I'm trying to do everything I can at this point to help Dahv, because he has done a great job with these Blood Knights. You can see that he's gotten the Corpse Card still in here. Kemmler is still alive in there. I don't think he has much magic left. but if he does, he's going to be trying to get it off. Boom, big hits coming in there. Still some more ammunition left on Khatep, and that Bone Giant I think has one more shot as well. At the same time there, you can see that the Warlock Engineer is still draining, and some of these Stormvermin have actually been routed off at this point. There's still some remaining, but that drain from that Warlock Engineer was just a huge factor. And actually, there with that big Skull Storm coming in on top of us, the balance of power is now neck and neck. You can see we're kind of spreading out. There's not very many of my units remaining. I'm pretty much down to just these couple Rat Ogres, and we've got Queek here hiding in the trees. I'm being chased by some Stormvermin. We've got a Warlock Engineer over here with just a few hundred health points as well. And at the same time, Dahv is coming in here for a final engagement. You can see there the Bone Giant finished up his ammunition. Khatep, I think, only has 1 or 2 more shots, but these Sternsmen, you see them charging in here, and they're ready for battle. They're never afraid. They always they win their fights. See here in the back, the last of the Tomb Guard going down, and Kemmler still has 500 health. So it is just a battle of like these just demolished heroes and just half dead Blood Knights. You can see here that these Rat Ogres are coming in here, and they're just crushing these Stormvermin. So those Rat Ogres right now are actually doing okay. They've got 900 health, 5 models, but you see they're about to rout off these Stormvermin. In come the Blood Knights, just a few of them remaining, and that I think will be enough to rout off those Stormvermin, which have died actually pretty quickly. Here in the back, some more Stormvermin coming in to support. Khatep is still alive and still getting shots off wherever he can. You see Heinrich Kemmler using that, oh man, he is trying to get away from that Bone Giant, but he is also debilitated. He is crumbling. I think he's got 100 health left. These Blood Knights, though, are going to take out this Bone Giant, no problem. With their anti-large, they're going to be in here attacking that Bone Giant. You can see here we do have some Graveguard remaining. Sternsmen are still okay, and the Corpse Carter are fine as well. And that's about that. I mean, if you look around, we do have one group of Skaven Slave Spears. So this group like made it to the edge of the map, and this is like the hero group of slaves. So there's like no one remaining from my squad at all, if you notice. Like they're in the back. Queek was actually just broken off by some Plague Clone catapult crews, and he's a -8 leadership. And there is like a group of Skaven slaves coming in. You can see there's like a few of these Blood Knights fighting against this Bone Giant, which still has 3,000 health, but at the same time, it doesn't have a lot of support as well. Khatep is pretty much out of ammo, and the Sternsmen and this group of zombies are kind of surrounding him. The Corpse Cart is still in there. You see some Stormvermin coming in on top of those Sternsmen, but I think the Sternsmen still have 2,000 health, and they'll crush those Stormvermin. So that is that. Over here on the left, you can see these Skaven Slave Spears got in there. I missed it. They got in there. They got a few hits on the Bone Giant. They absorbed a few hits for these Blood Knights, and they got routed off. But at the same time, you see the Blood Knights are still here. You see we've got some Graveguard that are returning, and the Bone Giant is almost down, folks. The Grand Hierophant Khatep is getting surrounded, and over here on the right, those Plague Claw catapults are actually, the crews are getting in there, and this is actually coming down to the wire. If you see here on the left, let's go ahead and see our hero Skaven Slaves. They're coming in here, and they're ready. We've got them a bunch of ranks deep to try to give them a little bit of leadership, and they're able to get in there. And between them and the Blood Knights and the Graveguard, they are able to take down the Bone Giant, and I think that brings it in our favor. You can see here the Sternsmen are in there, 800 health left, but they are able to rout off the Plague Claw catapult crews, of course, which were no match for them, even as they're breaking. You can see a big hit coming in here from those Blood Knights as well, and Khatep is surrounded. He is out of ammunition. He is out of luck. The balance of power is now moving pretty heavily in our favor. And we've still got our hero Skaven Slaves in there, 2,000 health on them, and they are getting in there. They know when it's about time to get the glory. They waited until the end like good Skaven will. They came back and they got in on the final kill, man. These Sternsmen are in here. You can see everything is just draining. At the same time, that is pretty much it. I don't think there's anything left that the Khatep can do against this type of Blood Knight damage. I mean, there's still 5 Blood Knights there. We've still got the the Graveguard, but it It was down to the last unit. I mean, that was just so crazy. Look at how many corpses. I mean, there was like 5,000, 6,000 units on the field. There's just corpses as far as the eye can see. So that was just a great battle. I just had to show that one before the patch came out. I didn't want to miss it because it was just so much fun. I mean, I tried something a little new with those rat ogres, but I think it was worth it. They stayed in there till the end, and they were a lot of fun at the end of the battle. The Deathrunners really got just wrecked. I mean, that was terrible. They got hit with all of the magic that Warhawk, my opponent here, could muster, and they were taken out with the quickness. I mean, we did have one group at the end that helped out, but Warlock Engineer did just great. I mean, that draining and the huge amount of Warp Lightnings he was dropping, I mean, he did good. We had some Plague Monks do okay. But really, it was just about the Warlock Engineer staying in there. These groups kind of just getting in there, helping out. You see the Deathrunners, they did okay. I mean, they were able to get some kills. We killed a good amount of Stormvermin as well. And that was that. I mean, 110 on these Rat Ogres. Over here for Dahv's army, though, he's soon. You can see the Corpse Cart was in there till the end, of course. And it helped keep those Blood Knights in action. I mean, so did Kemmler and Krell. That duo just smacking down some of those Bone Giants. I mean, Krell was in there just wailing on Bone Giants. You see here, he was able to use these units. I mean, 50 kills on Skeleton Warriors. He was able to use these units to fight the equivalent units on the other side, and so that actually helped out. We both went wide, and that's what happens. 210 kills on these Graveguard. Of course, there was a lot of kills on both sides, but it was, I mean, these Graveguards just, you know, massive amounts of kills, getting in there, just wading through, killing units. It was just a ton of fun for both of us. Now, if you see here for Warhawk, he did really well. He was able to get all of those Stormvermin were just lasting and just huge amounts of value from those Plague Claw catapults. I mean, look at that. It's like 400 kills between those two units. That is just a huge number of kills. He also, I mean, just was really difficult to take down. And the Skaven keep returning, you know, in a massive battle like that where things are happening on all sides. It was difficult for us to deal with those catapults and for, you know, those plague units as well. But the big thing here, look at this. 510 kills on Grand Hierophant Khatep. So I don't think I got to show all of the Skull Storms and everything, but he got some massive, massive spells off on our grouped up units, and it just did huge kills. 510 in a multiplayer 2-on-2 ladder battle, guys. You saw it here first. 108, 106 here. I mean, the Tomb Guard just really, really strong. We were able to take one Bone Giant down rather quickly, and we were able to get in and kind of stop those Skeleton Archers as well, but not before they did some major damage. So they, you know, they did some work. They got in there, they smacked down the Dire Pack, you know, pretty easily. They did do some damage to one group of my Rat Ogres, which really didn't have full value anymore. But we were able to kind of, I think we were able to kind of take out these big units here, these two Bone Giants pretty quickly. The Tomb Guard though and Khatep, they lasted till the end, and it was just, I mean, it was just a knockdown brawl, man. Look at the amount of units across both sides. Look at the huge number of losses. I mean, just a few troops remaining. Either way, it was great fun. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this one. Hopefully we'll be back with more fun action after the patch comes out. I can't wait to see what, you know, the changes bring. I can't wait to see all this new empire, you know, the new empire changes, and I'm you know, super excited to see what, you know, some of that stuff that I saw in the patch notes today. So you guys subscribe below for more great online content. This is BlackIron, and this has been another one of BlackIron's Battles.